Oh, hello. Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm here to help. How are you? It's 9 o'clock Eastern Time, Thursday night, Tiny Truck Town. We'll also talk about releases. I'm just sitting down from a, is my shirt on inside out or right side up? Who even knows? What's going on? Mike Bird, Greener Shade RC, Steve George. The light's just right today. Dude, no coffee in the house today. It's been brutal. I had to go to the gas station as soon as we got home from the trick-or-treating business. Yeah, how are you guys? How are you? So yeah, some fun stuff to go over today. It's not always trucks on Thursday. It's mostly gonna be, but it's also new releases. So that means I can talk about whatever I want. So we're going to talk about whatever I want. Yeah, candy. The kids, I got enough. We did get new releases today, yes, and we're going to talk about them on the air side and on the ground. Jay Huff, what up, man? Yes. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. I don't have anything really definitely planned for hands-on right at the moment, but we're going to do that. I'm excited. So I saw the new plane uh yesterday because I'm special. But I haven't watched really any of the videos. So we're gonna watch the video today too from on the new plane, which I believe is called the Sportix. It looks pretty good, man. Is it it's like 1.1, I believe, right? So is it 2S and 3S or 3S and 4S? Anybody know yet? We're gonna find out. And they re-released the base camp with basically kind of an overland package on it. And I think the price is still super competitive. 3S and 4S on that size, Tim Smith, that's fantastic. Then it should be a little ripper. It really should be. There was a time where I would have had one. It does look fun. It does. And we'll check that out in a minute. We got 15 in here. Give it a like and all that good stuff. And I have just little bits on the trimmer's truck. Nothing much has changed. I've covered up some of the white patchwork I had done, and I'm been experimenting with weathering um, a lot over this last week or so. And some of you guys might have seen, I'll bring the travel all. I wish it was really on its wheels. It's just sitting there. But I did some salt chipping to it and also some kind of scale model techniques. You can kind of get an idea a little bit what was going on from my Warshock ink blot test page. Yeah. Cool body, Mike, on the what? The that plane or the base camp with the overland stuff on it? I don't remember the original base camp having rock rails and stuff like that one. It looks good. It looks good. Right now, I mean, I keep building base camp builders kits And the only difference is really portal axles or straight axles. And I keep doing these builders kits because I like the straight axles. Portals are fine. No, there's unless you're being nuts about trying to get scale, it makes no difference. Portals improve performance, so that's cool too. The thing about going scale is weird. It's like performance, but not, but on purpose, also not. You know, if I really, really, really wanted performance only, I build one of those ugly things that doesn't look like anything at all, but axles and wheels. I like it to look scale though and perform. I want the best of both worlds. So yeah, and I figure my travel is a really good place to improve upon my techniques. I've been watching a lot of the little tiny scale model dudes videos. Just let them roll. I don't even listen. Half the time they're in another language or something. And just watching what those guys are doing. And it's amazing, honestly, what they're doing to really make something that legit is a piece of plastic in a box. Ends up looking really fantastic. There's a few more things that I want to get. Like I went by Meyer has a craft section, and I went by there last night because I'm like, I thought maybe they'd have some of those sea, you know, those sea sponges. It's like a sponge, but it's organic. They're perfect for blotting, and I couldn't get one, so I just used. I have some of these crappy brushes, these metal ones where the bristles fall out. It's just like a piece of metal clamped around a handful of bristles. I actually always crimp it again so I don't lose the bristles. But anyway, leave it dry and fan it out and beat on it a little bit, and you can get this kind of to stand out, and then blot a little bit on top of my salt chipping that I had done already. Dad's in the house. Philip Cochran, what's up? Philip, did you get the FPV figured out on that Mustang, dude? That looks wicked, man. And that's ambitious too, because I mean, that's a plane that's coming in hot. Are you full into it? The FPV immersion when that thing's coming in for landing? I didn't, if you did a video, I haven't seen it, but I thought I saw you talking about it. Talk to me. Talk to me, Goose. Yeah, these are the kind of brushes that all you got to do is touch it, and you got like 5 or 6 hairs out. So yeah, like I say, these crappy brushes, I just like to go ahead and at least try to hold it together before I get going with it. Just camera on the plane. Got it. That makes almost more sense. That's why it caught my attention because I'm like, "Ooh, that's pretty brave." To FPV, something like that would be amazing, but it's again pretty brave. So yeah, Crimsville. Anyway, junk brushes. They're perfect for making a mess out of things. It may be better for me to try to. I've been having trouble trying to send the pictures to the computer though. This phone is completely full on memory. And so it's stubborn because of it. Let me see if it'll let me send anything. I'd love to. No people found. How is that? I mean, my computer is like on. I'm going to shrink a link for just a minute so I can see if I can. Like, why is my airdrop not on? It'd be much better than what I can show you almost. Yeah. Why? Let me see if this will work now. I think I might have got it. It'll be nicer to pull it up on the screen, I think, to show you what has been happening to this travel all, man. It is looking good to me. Yes, it worked. Cool. Let me send a few and then I'll show you guys. I'm over the moon about what I've gotten out of this. Um, couple more. And the salt, I almost want to show you guys the salt part. Um, I did it twice because I wasn't happy with it the first time. I'll send you one more. Awesome. And then we'll look at them. That'll be cool. And I can bring the thing over here too, but there's nothing gonna be better than these pics. Wild Bill, what's up, dude? I'm excited to show you guys this outcome of the salt chipping that I've been doing. So let's take a look. Mike SSI, what's going on? And I'll bring it over here too. Let's talk about the travel all a little bit. By the way, how good does it look on wheels? It's not really on wheels. but it looks pretty amazing to me. And I did print off another window. It's just a mask. I'd use the clear. It's you can't see through it, but I used it because I thought I'd try it. And the first print I did for the window, I thought if I could see through it at all, it might be helpful. But I'll just use this as a mask, something to stencil and trace when I do make the windows for real. So I'm just tickled right now with this. Just and I've done a little bit of this stuff, but not like this one. And I feel like I'm able to hide whatever little residual from the lines there is. And I mean, I'm not done. There's still some washes I want to do, but and so this is after salt chipping and some brush work, which kind of helps blend it so it doesn't. This guy here, I never did any washes. I just sanded it. It's almost like it's too bright, the colors. It needs a little bit of wash. But I'm over the moon about that thing though, dude. Hold on. That's why I sent the pictures to the computer, because I just don't think. I mean, you get the idea. Look at that. I'm so tickled by it. And it's a little darker where it would be, where stuff collects. Salt chipping. Mountain RC, we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. I actually over scrubbed. This is the only little side where you see any evidence of lines on it at all. So I can touch it up, or I can quit being nuts. But I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm learning. So let's take a look at these pictures though, because I think they show it even. They show it even better than I can show it in the camera. The bumpers, I've been playing with too. Mountain RC, it's a great question. I love to answer it. And you can't tell because it's too blown out. I can turn the lights down. And we see anyway, it's yeah, you can't see that. Well, they're nice and rusty. I'll do some pictures. So salt chipping, the salt serves as the mask. I'll use this yellow roof to illustrate. Let me hit this coffee too. Fred Barron, what's up? Think of the salt like a mask. And I don't know if you guys, the guys that work on trains and the guys that do little tiny scale models are using these techniques. So think of the salt like a mask. So what I did on this one, this is the roof to the Golden Nugget. This is just one pass. No brushwork, nothing. This is just the salt. So I painted the roof rusty brown. And then legit, I put salt where I wanted it to show up. So like where I want the brown to come through in this example, is where I put the salt. So through the middle mostly on this one. And this again was a little bit of a test bed for the old red here, which I did twice. And I'll tell you why and what mistake I made. So the salt was where you see brown is where the salt was. So you put so you can use water to stick the salt down, but I'm not patient enough to wait for the water to dry to do the other color over the top. So with this one, no water, fresh coat of rust, throw the salt on there, and then go over the top of it with yellow. So the whole thing is yellow. And then when you scrub off the salt, wet sand it, scrub it off, brush it, whatever, the salt comes off and exposes what was underneath the salt. So the salt is like a mask. And this is the kind of effect that I was getting on Lexan from painting the Lexan on the outside and sanding through to different colors of paint. The thing about the 3D print, though, is no matter how good the printer is, and the bamboo's amazing, the lines you see on this roof are from where the pieces came together. Weird little, I don't know why there. You see it, but you can't feel it. It's sanded smooth. But I can hide that line and this one when I blot the colors over the top of it to give it more depth. But yeah, that's just a 2-color salt chip. And the salt chipping and like wet sanding or scrubbing lightly helps me get the finish I want without really exposing the lines and giving it away that it's a 3D print. It's a whole lot of work to still know it's a 3D print. And I know it's a 3D print, but I'm nuts. Some people count rivets. I don't want to see the lines. So I sand and fill and sand and fill. But the more you do or can do with the paint, the less scrubbing and stuff you have to do. So I think that explains salt chipping to a degree. So that's what you get when you do 2 colors. Well, on this dude, I knew that I wanted more than just red and rust. So when I did this salt chipping, I did the rust, just straight up rust color. I put salt on a little bit. Then I spray painted like this baby blue I like. Just highlights. Then I put more salt on it. So I'm layering it. And then I did the red. And then I scrubbed my face off, wet sanded, and got it to look like this. And then I've done a ton of like brushwork as well, which is why you have that grimy line there. And I'm learning, but I'm like so digging it. So it looks like white, but what it is that's blue, baby blue. The light color stuff is baby blue and rust and red, and then my brushwork stuff. So I'm like so tickled by this. And I hate gloss paint, but because of the way I scrub and wet sand and everything like that glossy red paint tames right down. So, and I'll probably do a satin over all this. It looks oxidized, rusty, the whole thing, man. I am so pumped about that travel all right now. And I have a slightly different color of blue. It's just a tad little bit darker than the trimmer's truck that I was doing some stuff to it as well. So let's look at these pictures. But all this work I've done to salt chip it, if I had the sponge, that organic kind of sea sponge I'm talking about, I could have I think I could have gotten there after watching these plastic model guys. They're just doing the same thing but small. But they don't have any lines to worry about like I do. But they're sometimes I've seen guys salt chip, but a lot of times they're doing all the techniques anyway. So they're going to come back at it and blot with a sponge and blah blah blah. And I don't want to blot too much. So like if you got excess on there on your brush, you get it off on something so it's a little bit more drier when you put it to the model. Thanks, Dan. So let's look at these pictures. Yeah, it's these techniques have been around forever, but it's cool to see it happen to RC. I actually salt chipped a foam plane one time. And boy, the foam is porous. I couldn't really ever get all the salt out. So the whole thing, when it really dried up, looked really white. And so I had to put a bunch of urethane on it to kind of give it that wet look and bring the green, the olive drab back into it. Let's see about sharing pictures. I want you guys to see it close up. Let's see. Window. And let me pull up those photos. Recents. Where did they go? I cannot stand technology sometimes, man. I am telling you, dude. I just sent them all. There they are. Okay, so like I said, I did the salt chipping twice on this red truck. So the first time I did it, I didn't let it dry, the water. And so I'm painting right over the water. And then it ended up being two weird, big, like rusty blobs. It just didn't, it isn't what I wanted. What I ended up, what you're looking at now is more like what I wanted. And so I hated it. And me and it hopped in the shower and I scrubbed it down. And I used probably 180 or 220 grit. And it looked okay, but I was back into the lines again. And I'm like, oh, shoot. So, well, I'm committed now. So let me sand all this stuff off, the salt, and do it again. So that's what I did. So when I did the red truck this time, I didn't use water at all. Like just like on the yellow roof. So I did the rust, and while it was still rusty paint was fresh, I threw some salt, sprayed some blue, threw some salt, sprayed the red, let it dry. And instead of I wet sanded with like 600 grit this time. Me and it outside with a hose, and that's what I got. And then this is before any brush work was done to it. And then I started looking a lot better. Do I have to share every stinking time? Yep. And then this is just mocked up, sitting on some wheels. But so this is after I've actually got it to look the way I wanted, but I've done some brush work. So where the blue, I could scrub enough to get the blue to really show up, but if I scrub really hard, it's too far. And so I would have blue where I wanted it, but then down to the edge, it'd be like still red. And I didn't want that. So I'm blotting on these rust paints I have. Look, you see the corners darker, a little bit darker down here. Looking pretty sweet. And I'll just show you a couple more of these pics. That's a pretty good one. That's a good one there. Okay. So we'll do, actually, I'll just leave them both open. Maybe that'll let me do both. And on the bamboo, I've just been printing some mirrors off. I want to print another truck, and maybe you guys help me find another truck. But I've got enough going on that I've just skipped it. So that is full screen. So yeah, you can see with the, I got some grime in there where it would have collected. And that's stuff I'm doing after the salt chipping with like a brush or a dry brush. But you can see kind of the blue coming through here. And to the edge, it was like bright red. So with these effects, I'm able to really blend that stuff better, I'm thinking. So that's pretty cool. And I want to show you this. This is a good angle. And then there's this one. It's nice. Like 3 different color browns I'm kind of using with the brush work to kind of darken up certain areas that I think should be. And the funny thing is, it looks rough as a cob, but it is super, super smooth. Super smooth. And I don't know if you can see this little area right there where my cursor is. That's actually where I scrubbed through the kind of drywall finish coat I had on there. But I thought it looked okay. Like if it's all about paint failing and stuff, like that's okay too. You know? So that's what that is. And yeah, shoot, I'll show you this one too. How can you not? How can you not? It looks too good. And yeah, isn't that neat? The I love the handful of different browns and the grime that I'm getting in there and stuff. Just killing me. And all that little light colored stuff is actually blue. So kind of interesting, blue, brown, and red. But I think I'm just tickled um, with how this one's turning out. And so I've learned a lot on this travel all, and that's what I'm letting it be for me. Um, and I'm glad I redid the first failed attempt at the salt chipping to get this is more like what I wanted. And so I'm happy with how it's turning out. So stay tuned. Stay tuned, man. I'm over the moon with it. And you see why I wanted to show you pictures, because it just doesn't quite do it justice, holding it the way some of those pictures have captured in actual sunlight. Yeah, I am really happy with that. Um, OBS Chevy body. So let's look at the new plane, and then we'll look at the new base camp real quick. Let's do that. Let's do that. If I miss anything in the comments, I'm sorry, because John Graham, you getting you waiting to get the brushless one? The Typhon? It is. I got the brushed one right here. You want to see it next to a person? It's small enough you can lose it if you're not careful. Where is it? That's so dumb. Where? Oh my gosh, there it is. Yeah, so they just released these last week, the brushless versions. The brushless ones are talking crazy speeds. This is these are fun as is. And if it's about the holidays, I don't know when the ETA is on the brushless ones, but you might have to go with this. But these little Groms are a hit. I don't expect they'll go anywhere. They will keep on with those because they are a hit. And it's not a hit to the pocketbook. You know what I mean? They're water resistant. I'm not sure I'd say waterproof. Can you mount a different body on the Groms? With a lot of work, I'm sure you could. It'd probably be easier to do other body on the Mojave than it would be the Typhon. And I think the NASCAR ones would be really easy to do, easier to do different bodies on. This is just so very tight. I mean, if you look at the profile of a Typhon, it's like an airfoil, dude. I mean, it's so hot. I think you play with them in the snow. It depends on the snow, though, and that's to be said with all of them. And that's just about the traction, you know. The Typhon's buttoned up pretty good. I'm not sure much would get in there at all. You know what I mean? Because it's so compact. and basically sealed off. Let's look at the plane. I want to see the video on this plane. So let me find it. Would be a great class of racing. And I think you're going to see it with the Micro Bs and the NASCARs for sure. All right, let me dial up this. And I ordered stuff that did not come yet today. I really like those little Mojaves too. All right, let's look at this airplane. And our buddy Jason came up with the paint scheme on this, from what I understand. All right, let's make it small so I can see. Dang it. It's a deal trying to run one of these streams, man. All right, let's look at some of the pictures first. This is 1.1, 269 Bynum Fly, 3S, 4S capable. I like the looks of it. We're going to rip through. Ooh, it's got lights. Tail wheel. Big control surfaces. This thing ought to be a blast. Nice front end. And let's see the video. Awesome. There it is. Ripping. Holy smokes, look at that. Of course, expert pilots on the sticks. Super capable. That's nice. 269. I like it. I love the lights. Yeah, the wing right there in the middle, the fuse should be super axial rolls. Tail light on there too. Sweet. Looks like a symmetrical airfoil too. What's up, Michael Bear? I like it. What's up, Francis? 3-pointer reverse thrust. Let's go. And buddy, we got buddies of ours that I'm sure, I don't know who all got one of these today and put out a video, but check out the usual suspects. You know what I mean? Nice. Looks like it's definitely got a wide envelope, where it can loaf and it can just rip too. Fun. Yep. It looks like it's all, yeah, everything at this point is going to have safe if you want it. And then reverse thrust, yes, I guarantee it has it, because especially when you saw the way the prop stopped, that a little bit tells you that it's in there. So let me see if I can go right back to, let's look at the base camp now. Yeah, cool. There it is. Let's click that pre-order button. I just want to make sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. All right, cool. You are. So I need to make this a little bigger for myself. We want to see these pics and video on this thing too. Yeah, so this is the same old tried and true base camp, but with a lot more going on. And from what I know, I think it's still a really fantastic price. $319. That's great, actually. So, okay. Just want to make sure y'all still see it. Come on, man. So 2 different colors. There's a gray and a white. Overland package, snorkel, rock rails. Nice. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, man, me too. Base camp's a great $319. There's a lot of scale bits on this. When you compare it to the $500 offerings, like, this is a good way to get in it. You don't have inner fenders like you do on some of the other, the $500 ones, but you've got a solid platform. And like I said, I keep building base camp kits. The only difference is the power system I'm putting in it, and these ready to run versions have portal axles, which for crawling is honestly better. Nice tires, nice bumpers, super nice price for 10 scale. And they did just come out with 24 scale base camps the other day, but these with the overland package is pretty sweet. And then we'll look at the gray one really quick, but that's a good look at portal axles right there. So the middle of the wheel is here. There's no axle there because there's gearboxes on each corner now that lift it up. Pretty sweet. Sand ladders. I mean, you guys saw me build one of these basically. So you got sand ladders that you can actually use. This little case opens up so you can keep a couple tools in there or whatever. Nice, like, roll cage bit. The false bed is like a satin type of finish, so it's not going to scream at you. Um, that it's obvious. And I think it just looks fantastic for an RTR. The mirrors fold back out of the way, so they're not going to break off. And, that's basically what I just built, except that they put all the stuff on it. The bumpers, the body posts. Mine's pretty stripped down, but that's basically what I've been building. And here's one ready to rock for $319. And I think you can get the original base camp for $70 off still. Today might be the last day. Trusses are already part of the situation. And with these portal axles, they give you 90mm shocks instead of like the hundreds that I get on the kits. So there's no real need to do the shock mod that I keep doing the stuff on these. All right, let's look at the gray one. And from video I saw earlier today, the white is actually almost like a pearlized white. So rather than just basic and boring, there's actually a cool finish to the white one. It looks great. I mean, it's for all intents and purposes, that's a Tacoma, otherwise known as Toy Coma, because it's not licensed at the moment. Looks good. I like it. I would have done a video on one. All right, let's look at the video. Here we go. And check out the Horizon content on this. I, of course, have the music turned down, but I guarantee you it's a dope video. And I'm pretty sure, if I had to guess, Pete and TJ filmed this, because they did the little base camps too, and they were playing with a jet boat in a place that looked a lot like this. So I wonder if they went out and got this all done the same couple days. Nice transition into the different colors there. The only problem with this video is that I'm not in it with them, if you ask me. Those look tough. I mean, I like the other base camp. It's basic, dude, and it's still bad to the bone. This one, I cannot believe it's $319, because the old school 10-2 deadbolt was like $319, and it's got plastic links and junk. So like this one, it's even better. Even better. I want to look on my phone. What's the ETA on those? I'm just curious for my own sake now. I'm building all these kits though. I mean, I'd love to have done the work on it, but I'm just curious at the ETA for the plane as well. Let's see, the Bind and Fly Sportix. Yeah, Richard Hensley. 269 December for the Sportix, what it says. And base camp. It says November. Pre-order November. Killer. Fantastic. That's great. While we're at it, let's look at the brushless Typhons really fast because when are they coming? I know John wants to know. Fall Frenzy. I think that is over today. Yeah, man, the new Typhon and Mojaves, holy smokes. So let's look at there's two versions. The one for 219 comes with battery and charger. We'll look at that one. Three different color schemes. December. So that's good to know. And that I guarantee it gets moved back. And that's because the volume at which they are sold. That's not like a logistics thing other than just supply, would be my guess. So when you see an ETA move back, it's because the popularity is something. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want it, make it happen. Let's check out the Mojave, dude. When's that one coming? Shop now. Same deal. If you get it without the battery, 199. If you get it with the battery and charger, 229. It's almost just get the battery and charger. December on the one with everything. And that's the colorful one. And then let's see the black and gold one. December. For now. Cool. Fun stuff, man. Nice releases. I watched two of the most ridiculous videos today on the base camps from Harley Designs and Scale Builders Guild. So, of course, they already did videos on the base camp and they did little reviews on the new one today. And then they turned them into like barbecue grills for camping. So legit. So one guy's cooking hot dogs with his base camp, and the other guy's toasting like made a mini pizza and toasted one of those crustless peanut butter sandwiches. So stupid. It was great though. So if you want to see that, check out them. Harley Designs and Scale Builders Guild. Their base camp videos were ridiculous today, but a lot of fun. Yeah, that's that. I think it might be fun to poke around on one of my favorite sites for truck files. Excellent thumbnails. And start thinking about what's my next truck body gonna be. I got so much to do, but I can make them. It's crazy. And again, I don't have a lot to show in the trimmer's truck. Like I said, It's about where it was. The things I've done are just small. I ordered up my extension, and I thought it would have been here by today, um, so I can mount the front and start attaching things to the chassis, so we can drive Humvee. John Graham, that's a cool vehicle. I'm sure they're out there too. They're not my favorite. I spent a lot of time around Humvees in the service. Um, they were always in the way, but that's what our boat was. We carried Marines around, so we had them all over the place. Um, if you haven't noticed, I kind of like the old school trucks a little bit. So if you guys are into it, man, we're an hour in. If you're into it, we can poke. I think it'll be a walk down memory lane for a lot of you guys. If I go poking around at this creator's files on cults, his files are amazing, and he's got so much stuff that I will be content shopping with that dude for a long time. Poke it. Yeah. And I was talking to Kelly today, and he's got a angle on getting, what is it, EDM, cutting flat rail chassis of our own design. I'm pretty excited about, because the interior, I don't want to lose the interior of these things, especially the files that I'm getting ready to shop. They are so good, and the interiors are also so good that I hate to cut them up a bunch. So, something to think about. One thing I noticed too, I've thought about fabric and glue, like Elmer's and water, just to thin it out and then shape your fabric like over a transmission or whatever it's in your, that you cut a hole out for, and kind of make it build it in a little. I'm watching these scale model guys, and they put like a drop cloth over this overland stuff they had on a Land Rover. Bro used a Kleenex and Elmer's and water, thin, soaked the Kleenex, laid it over the stuff, kind of wet brushed it in the folds and the way he wanted to. When it dries hard. And then he was able to do all his paint effects and make it look like super old. I just think this stuff's cool. And especially that it's RC. Like, I love seeing these little techniques make it to airplanes and trucks. And the stuff I'm learning and experimenting with right now, I know I've got some more plans to do a little bit more, take the patina a little bit farther on this golden nugget thing that I'm doing. So it's no complaint at all that there's so much to do. I'm just over the moon. And I ordered some more wheels and bead locks. I really like the bead locks. Those Proline ones, the shiny ones behind me on those BFGs, I ordered another set because they're just too good. So they're coming, and so is the extension and a rear bumper for my short course truck, so I can dude, my bumper right now has been held on with zip ties all outdoor season. So get this thing in check for inside, because inside's easier on the vehicle. We raced these 10 scale two-wheel drive short course things on so many kind of 8 scale tracks that they don't make the jumps. And because of the lightweight nature and the body of those short course trucks, if you don't get it just right, you would stuff it in on the tail or the nose all the time. So Let's go. Let's go looking at files, shall we? Dude, we're going to visit this creator I follow, and I'll just leave it right here. Let's make the picture big. Does that make it big? Not really. And I don't know how he's rendering these thumbnails, because I mean, his prints are good, but they don't look like this. But holy smokes, what he's able to produce. All right, Wild Bill, here we go. Let's get into it. Shopping files, and we're going to open up with something very familiar to you. And you can see immediately why I was inspired to grab this vehicle. The international travel law. Come on. Ah, there it is now. Guys, the amount of messing around I do on this thing to get things to work. Okay. Check that out. So that's the first picture I saw of that panel Travelall, and I was like, holy smokes. That's the one I'm making. That's the one I'm making. So now what we do, you find a file you like. This is Cults 3D. And this is the creator right here. Bro, 11,000 downloads at 25 bucks a whack. How's he designing this stuff? I don't know, but it's amazing. So if you click the dude's name, you get to see all of his stuff: trucks, pickups, American classic cars, SUVs, modern cars, trophy trucks, wagons, engines, just amazing. All of the options. And look at his thumbnails. They are dialed. And so, yeah, there's the Travelall with the windows in it. And I was like, you know what? Red grabbed me big. And then I like the panels, actually. So I went for it. Tow truck, Dodges, Fords, Chevys, big old dually deal, potato trucks. I mean, what? F250, 1969, F250, and then pages and pages and pages. So, yep. Did you see a Scout? And then there's the International Travelall, slightly different grill and headlights. Studebaker, you know, goofy cars like Cadillacs. International pickup. You know, I mean, come on, dude. Look at that Chevy panel truck. I mean, it's gorgeous. I'm sorry. Let's look at this real quick. Waiting on pictures to load. Even the green right here is dynamite. Look at this shot. Waiting on it to open up. Yeah, there's a ton of cool stuff. Ton of cool stuff. I'm telling you, open up. Come on. There we go. Wow. That's interesting. It's not my jam, this one, but it's cool. And the fact that he's got this stuff. And what's, to me, one of the amazing things is the fact that I know this dude's stuff is good because I've already built one of his. And all right, so I want to make sure. Okay, cool. We're back. There's so much to look at. I mean, look at this. I mean, I'm really more into the trucks and SUVs than the cars, but I thought it'd be neat for you guys to see the cars too. International pickup, like crew cab, I mean, and these files, you saw what I printed off. It's got the chassis. So if you wanted to make a metal, I like these old Jeep trucks too. Not super old, but like a 85 Comanche. And then here's one custom one, a handful of different Cherokees. Like you want to make the banana from Matt's Off-Road Recovery, easy. Grab one of these Jeep Cherokees and make it happen. I really like the box back stuff. So this old school Suburban looks amazing to me as well. We're only on page 2. This sight axle is Colts 3D. And the creator, you see his name, Andre Bezrodny. I got no affiliation with him at all, except for I'm making this truck. And when I'm done, I'm going to send him a picture. And for $2,000, I'll make any of you guys any of these vehicles you see. But it's legit. It's going to be $2,000 for the time. But 22, if you got a 3D printer, buy your own 3D printer and make it. Through my link in the description. But so this 65 long bed step side, and there is a step side GMC. Dad, are you still in here? Like this one, I almost did. And Farrell had the Chevrolet version of this, didn't he? I mean, it looks identical, except that his was a Chevy. But I wanted to click into the red one instead of the blue one because that's maybe not exactly, but very close. I mean, somebody wants a custom truck, it can be done. But and dude, I know that sounds crazy, that kind of money. But dude, if you want it to be RC, you're already into it. 5, 600 bucks just there. His was a 1960 Apache 10. But it was a Chevrolet, right? I swear I remember Chevrolet on the tailgate. Straight 6.3 on the tree. This dude may have one. If you see it, let me know, because I might have to do it. On my printer, I printed off the Willys wagon in 50 hours. And if I knew better what I was doing, it would have been less. The interior for the Willys wagon was it's just not okay. So if I skipped that interior, 2 big massive chunks, I could have saved 10 hours. So not even 100. But all the other work and finishing is where, if you ask me, the time comes from. So I feel like this blue one is more like, because it's a Chevy. What year was that one Farrell had? These are awfully close, but they're not quite. Definitely worth your salt, Fred. Come on. I don't want to miss anything. All right, cool. I got to make that a little bit smaller. What's up, Big Jim? Just cool stuff. Crazy old Dodge. This reminds me, this Chevy 61 Suburban, the front end of this one reminds me more of Farrell's truck. 60. I was thinking 59, but yeah, 60. So look at that Chevrolet Suburban. Guys, you see what I've done with this international travel all. Same dude, same quality of files. There's a C1061. Now, that's more like it, except the step sides aren't there. But dump truck, look at that. This ugly, weird thing. Flak bait. That was a cool project. My first salt chipping was an airplane, B-26, 200 mission flak bait. You know, lots of cool stuff here. Dude, look at this one. 59 Suburban. Power wagon. I mean, neat. Ooh, I didn't see that. The Model T hot rod. Need to make a sprint car out of that. I like this too. Datsun 72 wagon. This is pretty demure as well. 1970 panel truck. Chevrolet. Dodge. Oh, that's a GMC. Dude, we're not even close. Like, and there's a bunch of modernish stuff. These the thumbnails here make them Mustangs, modern things. Helicopter, like, hello. It's cool. Jets and Texans. Oh man, I'm missing more sports. Toyota Corolla. Make it a rally car or something. Nissan hardbody. Willie's Coupe. That's a nice looking Chevy Blazer, 1970. I think that's what Kelly's made, one of these, but he didn't do the top. I can't wait to show you the Jeeps. What's up, Doughboy? Impala wagon. There's a nice 72 Chevrolet truck. I mean, that's killer too. Blazer 76. There's so much. I'm going to speed up, but you guys, if you're into this print and stuff, I mean, each one of these, you're less than $25 and you've got enough files to work with for quite a while. Like, I am able to repurpose all the stuff into whatever I want it to be. GMC 100, 1959. Chevy truck. This guy's amazing. And the files are good too. When you click into the thumbnail, they're still good. Sometimes you click into a thumbnail and it's like Fisher Price. Grand Wagoneer 73. This is where we found our first. The front of my trimmer's truck is this. The back is something else. Actually, no. I think that's a different file altogether. I don't know. I can't remember. It actually might be it. There's some other ones too. 77 Jeep, J10, 86. I mean, come on, man. Grand Wagoneer. My brother-in-law's got one of these. And they really held that same style for quite a while. His is not, Toyotas when they look cool. 76. Triumph. 77 Cherokee. I mean, like Sprinter vans. Like, what? Camper thing from Europe. Another Jeep 91. That's more like it. I think it's an 80s model that my brother-in-law has. And I mean, 8 pages or so of just fantastic stuff. And this must be one of his early ones because he's actually got, pictures on the bench of this one. Plymouth Roadrunner. How cool is that, though, dudes? But if you wanted to change the way you search this guy, it's easy. You go back to his like homepage. Trucks, pickups, classic cars, SUVs. You know what I mean? You can just search in blocks. So you can see now I'm looking at all the box back stuff I love. And this the thumbnails are amazing and super inspiring to let go of your money. So that's our SUVs, and same thing. Trucks. There they are. El Camino. Camper. F100. F100 step side. Bill, you gotta be loving some of these. I think this one looks killer. The 69 250. I love the mirrors. This is killing me, dude. It's international. I really was looking for the Snow Star Scout, but then I found these and I'm like, holy moly. I was like, that travel all grabbed me hard. This, I mean, you can't go buy this stuff. So I like that too. The picture's not as inspiring, but the Chevy 72 K20 looks nice. Yeah. I mean, what? What? I think I have enough to work on. I need to just like, all right, print my brooms and junk off. 63 step side Chevy. Yeah. It's going to be super important and awesome to figure out these chassis rails that we're trying to make. I think that's going to be really great to maintain. I don't want to cut up truck beds and stuff, or interiors. I still want them to perform, but we can make them perform. And they're tough enough to go out there and try. We went out crawling. I haven't put the video together yet because it's 3 hours of footage. But we went out last weekend, and the Car and Karate Kid, I'll have to look that up. We went out last weekend, and I took my CJ7 Jeep, like super performer. Sean had his CJ7. Kirk had his RC four-wheel drive Toyota lifted with bigger tires. So we all had some performers. Kelly brought his Blazer that he printed off from the same dude on one of those leaf sprung chassis that we keep using. And it was awesome. He was able to keep up. And it's kind of like my green 73 Bronco from Axial, big boxy kind of thing. You because of the body, you got to kind of bash through some things, but you can still work it out. And he was able to work it out. And so I'm excited about these bodies on whatever chassis. And I think if we're able to get along and have realistic expectations on the FMS stuff's okay, but it's not as good as Axial or Vanquish or probably even Element, but it's working out for us and we're going for it because of the leaf spring of it all on the cheap. And so if we can put our own chassis rails with these available axles and suspension systems that are available, um, we're going to be able to have some really cool looking stuff that can actually do some things. And, we glue these things together, but they're tough. I mean, I think we really put the Blazer through it. We were crawling for 3 or 4 hours. We all ran it, and it went everywhere we were trying to go. And sometimes you had to kind of work to get there, but it was doing it, and nothing's coming undone. Nothing's breaking. Pretty neat. And if it holds together, it's plastic. So I mean, Kirk has smacked the crashed into us a bunch of times. My Land Rover, he's hit me really good. He hit the Blazer really good. Everything's fine. Now, what car in Karate Kid are we talking about? The first one? Oh, that yellow one. Wax on, wax off. Yeah. I think the guys that own that restaurant downtown Muncie had one of these. Vermeer's Bistro. It looks just like it, same color and all. Yeah, I mean, I was talking about vehicles from TV or movies, and I think that's a great idea. But golly, this dude's files are so good. Um, I like it. I like it. I like it. So we're an hour and a half. I'm not gonna really get after anything right now. Oh, tomorrow's Friday. Hallelujah. I maybe my stuff will show up tomorrow. I'm super close. And that's why I'm really starting to play with this patina stuff. I definitely want to rust out the trimmer's truck. Let's pull it out. I want to get it looking good. I got to grab me a Cricut machine. And I thought it was smart to experiment on my travel all white bumpers with the techniques before I did it to um, my trimmer's truck. So when I do it, I just do it right. Work in progress, man. This one. And I do have almost enough stuff to make a whole nother one of these. And so that's probably what's going to happen too. Kelly was talking about doing one like this, but the movie Twister instead. Now that I turn the light down, you might be able to see my rust better. Yeah. Little grimy grime. Rust on my travel all bumpers. I can dig it. I can dig it. So I wanted to try that stuff out. You can see a little bit of variation in the blues now, and anywhere back here in the fender business that I had a lot of work to fab, all the caulk joints they're gone. So things are getting a little more solid. You see the variations in blue just a little bit. Those little things add so much. Diamond plate. That's real metal painted white. So that diamond plate, when it gets rusty, is going to be amazing. And then I printed off. So there's only one little light on the back. You see it. The other one, it's just so thin it broke right off. And I thought it might be a good idea. So I printed them off. I have two options for mirrors on the Travelall. I got these big dogs here that I actually really like until I put them on the truck. So I got these big dudes. And then I got these little roundies. Well, I thought these might be perfect to fix the lights. So I printed off a couple smaller ones. And I think I may be able to make those work for the lights, to emulate the lights on the back of this thing. It's hard to hold it steady, but you kind of see what I'm getting at. There's the one stalker, and I can basically make it happen with these other mirrors. So, and then I think these mirrors are fairly appropriate for the trimmer's truck if I get them sized right. These guys. So that's it. That is what's up. I got the inner fenders on, they're black. Yeah, Richard, and here's why I'll have two, because this one I'm making is for my dad. It was his idea, and it's a great idea, and it's been fun, and Kelly and I both have actually learned a lot doing it. So I need my little stencil on the side, little rust here and there, put some stuff in the truck bed, get it attached to the chassis, and we are making videos at that point. It's about time. It's about time. I painted the guy a little more too. Yeah, the little color variation and stuff is working out. Oh, dude, it's cool. Tell me about are the Jets playing tonight? 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Are they on the regular network? I mean, did you think the Jets were going to win? So dude's got blue jeans on now. I got another one too with jeans on. He's in a box. Amazon Prime. All right. 10-7 Texans. Dude, last game of the World Series. What? It's like all of a sudden they became seventh graders, dude. Wow. You see the fan obstruction where the dude ripped the ball out of the dude's glove? I love baseball. I have missed all of it, though. I don't know why. How did I miss it? That the series, I didn't know. I'm in my own deal. Zimmerman. That is the nuttiest thing. So, yeah, thanks for coming by. Thursday release show. Catch you up on some of these projects. I'm making such progress on the travel all. I wonder if this thing might actually be up and running before my Willie's wagon is. Come on. I mean, just stupid. And it doesn't fit on here because this is the base camp. There hadn't been enough chopping done. Kelly, what's up, man? We're about to wrap it up. We've been talking about you, though, the whole time. Got to play with wheelbase a little bit, but that's not hard. Thanks, Wiggle Fingers. So I designed this to be on a 13-inch chassis. And it's right now sitting on a 12-inch chassis. So that's why it looks goofy. That's why the lady. That's why the lady. But I think if I remember right, this old girl's ready to rock on it. Yes. So the axial chassis is actually perfect for this. Yeah. So the Red Cat 13-inch coilover or another Jimny is what's going under the Travelall. But I'm telling you what, dude, I really want us to have our own chassis rails because I don't want to lose the interior. Even though it's a panel wagon, I still want the whole thing to be sound. Of course, when I pick it up, it starts hanging. This is going to be killer. This is going to be my, Fab Rats kind of tribute deal. I do need to get this one done since this is already basically ready. So much to do. And I haven't done the shock mod on that one yet. So I may not need to. And there's always a way. Too tall. Too tall. That's all right. We got a little Carolina squat going on. We'll take it for now. John Wick will show up looking for a new car at Ryan's shop. Fun stuff, man. Guys, thanks. Get out there and play with something. Hunker down and make something. Modify, cut, scrape, scratch, sand, scrub. Did I say scrub? Pretty fun. The Land Rover, I finally got it done with an interior, the windows done, and that feels good. I didn't expect to have the golden nugget back. I got hinges on the doors, a roof printed off and patinaed. It's super close. It was my first Jimny chassis that I modified. So knowing what I know now, I need to pull some leaves, move just a couple things, and I can lower this thing just about 5 millimeters, and that will look even better. And it will perform better for lowering it as well, where it's not going to be so tippy. So yeah, I just got to hinge the back door now, finish some things off, windows, suspension, and that one's done. So there's a lot of them that are almost done. But glad to have the Land Rover done. We're getting close on a lot of them. I'm okay with some of it taking a minute. I still want to get one of those sponges. I'm not sure I'm going to let the lines that I do see on this travel all bother me. I only see them on this side. And they're not there, though. That's the thing. You can't feel them. You just see them. Richard, you going flying this weekend? I'd love to. It's been stupid windy. Like, it was earlier in the week, we were wearing shorts, and now it's been so windy. There's no more leaves, really, hardly any more leaves left on a lot of the trees. The maples have let go. I think there's a elm that's still holding on to its leaves. TFR in the living room. Yeah, cool stuff. Good times. Thanks so much for indulging me on this. And if you don't feel like building one, they come ready to go. That crawling thing is a whole new dimension. It's funner than you think it is, and you don't have to leave the house to do it. That's the big takeaway for me on this messing around, is I don't have to leave to do it. And if you're the kind of guy that has ready to runs, don't want to print off full bodies, we got 10 minutes. Let's poke around at Night Customs. Want to? I'm actually very looking forward to these particular files that he's had in the works. So we're gonna shop this dude real quick. Night Customs. So these are 3D files. Already got the G codes for bamboo, which is fantastic. If you ever are printing off something that doesn't have that kind of information, um, and you've already bought something from Night Customs, drag it into the project and check out the G codes and reuse them. And then whatever you're printing will be dope. Let's see. So I did share screen. Yeah, Richard, cool, man. Let's do it. All right, so now reconfigure the whole internet for myself. So this is Night Customs, and there are opportunities to get in on a subscription to actually save some money on files or whatnot. This Jeep has Patagonias on it, which are one of my favorite tires. New designs every month. So the Vanquish H10 Optic has been super popular lately. And there's all kinds of files for it. And these could be used in anything you'd want to purpose them for. What's up, Jason? Coming soon is looks to be an articulated driver for the CJ7. Pumped about it. So there's some of the subscription business, yada yada. So we're going to look at files. Let's look at this one. Are we clicking into this? Nope, that's more of that. So let's go 3D files. Ammo cans, just all kinds of stuff for the 24 scale. Overland bits, fenders, bumpers, the beach buggy. I wonder what that's for, because that looks totally cool. Dude, this beach buggy body would be killer on one of those 10-2s with the I-beam front end suspension, two-wheel drive. What's this for even? Dude. What's that on? You need a couple of little ammo cans in your truck? Not a problem. Not a problem. I think we're going to have a big crate holding the battery in the back too. Might look like a prop box. Who knows? I think this is probably a body on a Tamiya kit, but I wouldn't know exactly. Looks fantastic. That body needs to be purple, and it needs a fleck in it. I mean, any Volkswagen kit, this ought to go on it. I bet that's for Tamiya. What is this for? What vehicle? What RC vehicle? Because that is dope. Beach buggy conversion set. Vintage sand scorcher Tamiya. Yes. Oh. The thing about the vintage Tamiyas is they're still making them. They're still making them. Sandrail conversion. CJ7 driver, Sand Rover driver. All right. That's cool. So let's, all right, get back into the list. Um, all kinds of stuff. Inner fenders for the Bushido, which is a Samurai, basically. Our girl Haley as a driver for the CJ7 if you want. I keep using this guy, Matt, for things. Bumpers, Desert Patrol vehicle. This Fordyce interior is what I bought the other day and have used the interior and sized it up to, do whatever I need it to. Gas cans, skid plates, roof racks, snorkels, really good looking stuff. Roto packs, bed covers, drop beds. So this is for the Element Night Runner. That's for the files, Jason, and then you print them yourself or find somebody to do it. But these are all built on basically the bamboo files to be optimized for that. This is a working interior here for the optic. So there's a spot for a servo on the steering wheel, arms articulate. I mean, there's another mat right there, probably the same driver that's in the Fordyce. Basically the same size truck, so it should be fine. Phoenix interior detail set. So the Phoenix is more of a Toyota rather than a Jeep. I bought the Fordyce interior because it's totally a Willys truck, and I thought that would be as close to appropriate for Dad's trimmer's truck. So that's been useful in lots of things. Sand Scorcher driver, Sand Rover, sand rail conversion set. You got your fake little Volkswagen motor here, tactical case set. This looks like an axial servo winch chassis brace. That's cool. Even if you don't put a servo there, that's cool. Yeah, the price is great. And earlier in the show, I showed my international travel all. This thing comes with the floor, the interior, the dashboard, the whole body, engine, alternator, all the stuff for like $25. You couldn't buy it anywhere for that. Unimog bits, VS410, inner fenders, electronics trays, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, keep an eye on Night Customs. I follow them on Instagram. This full CJ7 interior that's coming, full depth on the back if you want, and it's hard to believe you can make it look even more scale. And he's got two options to hide the shock towers when you go full depth interior on that CJ7. There's, I think, tactical boxes or coolers, maybe even a seat or something. But there's some people doing some amazing things out there. Um, maybe someday I'll be one of them. The price is great, especially if you have a 3D printer. You know, uh, I think because of how much time it takes to actually kind of print things off, depending on the printer you have, it's sometimes hard to find somebody that's generous enough to tie up their printer for you. Um, I'm fortunate that Kelly was super generous with the time. I think he just wanted somebody to do it with. But the time I know his printer was tied up to get me going at the beginning, uh, tremendous amount of time and effort to set it up. And it was like he was learning as he went, and the Land Rover is dope. And that's my first 3D print build, and he printed it. And I put it together and had a ball solving the problems. And so I'm hooked. I'm hooked. And I love my ready to runs, but man, you can't buy this, you know? So I think that's neat. Same thing. You can't buy the Land Rover either. You can buy Land Rovers, but not that one. You can't buy the Trimmer's truck. Can't really buy Willie's wagon. You're not going to pick up that Travelall. And then, like, nearly all of those vehicles I showed you from Andre, I think it's probably Andre. It's Andre, but it's like Europe version is my guess. And what a ton of files he's got. Ton. Yeah, and Philip, it's amazing too, like how many people, most RCers are fine with the way it comes, you know. But there is a huge, especially in this crawler deal, there is a huge contingent of people who are from scratching a lot of it. And we're not even talking about brazing and folks that are welding and brazing tube frame chassis and buggies, you know. It's just like the planes. There's somewhere for everybody. You know, if you're super scale rivet counter, there's a place for you. If you want to catch, uplift at a slope, there's a thing. There's stuff for you. If you want to fly scale warbirds but don't want to break the bank, there's a place for you. It's you want to build them out of stick and tissue and throw guts from an ultra micro into it and fly it in a gym because you're a builder, but now you're old and you want to fly in the winter, there's a place for you. It's neat. 3D printed planes. There's been some really neat ones, but I would venture to say they're all heavy. And that's very contrary to the flight. I think for me, it's great for scale bits and cockpits. But these cars, doesn't matter how heavy it is, you know? So sky's the limit. And it depends what you're into. There's a jet out there. Guys tell me about it all the time. It's like a 3-piece print. I'm not into it, but it's like a 3-piece print. And I think you put 50 millimeter fans in it or fan, and you could have a jet. Belly lander. And then guys like Chris Grocka, who's next level smart designer. And he's running HSD jets now. He's done some fantastic work. But the time he's got in it. And again, you know, when you have that desire, I mean, he's making planes that he couldn't get elsewhere, you know. And I'm sure there was a ton of trial and error, especially once you put something in the air, you know, to get it right. And my guess is that they had to be pretty I guarantee you he had to make him as strong and as light as he could and go with the power system that would get it done. The beta test Eclipse on 3D printed planes. Some are cool and some are not. Yeah, and I've flown enough planes the like if it's a Warbird and it's 3D printed, it's going to be small and heavy. And I mean, that's cool if that's what you want. But I know how it's going to fly. I mean, I think it'd be fantastic to just hang them up and look at them. But again, being a 3D print, there's a lot of work to do to make it not look like it is. And the better printer you have, the better print you get and all that. But there's still there's a lot. I have sanded a lot. I'm happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it. Guys, thanks so much. We're over 2 hours. That's probably enough. Um, we'll, we got enough to work on. You know, I just like catching you up. I don't, a lot of times, Wednesday and Thursday, I really get on it after work and get some things done to have to show you. I all that petite, not the salt chipping part, but the brush work was all last night on the Travelall. And I also messed with the trimmer's truck last night as well. And I wanted to try the techniques out on if I mess up the rust, it's easier to hide it on this thing than it is the blue dude. And I didn't wasn't able to source the sponge that I want. So I was like, I'm not going to wait anymore. Let me try it with a brush on this. And it was okay. But I still want and it basically does what you want salt chipping to do, but it without having to go through that whole process. And you can change the colors and mix colors. I mean, really, I got so much done off of that. A little bit of water, a little bit of paint, a little bit of mixy mix. And I was able to dial it in pretty good. So stay tuned. That'll be fun. I think we're on to something with these chassis that we are going to get cut. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what we can do with that, because I think people would like to have these cool old trucks, but I think it's even cooler if you can thrash on them a little bit and drive them. And, you know, there are some folks who would never build this because it's too long. And then if they want to crawl it, they just wouldn't pick this because they're going to want to cut so much out of it to make it, you know, perform. And I think that's fine. But I like working with what I got. The lines on this thing, for out of one of those boxy SUVs that I had to choose from out of those files, for my style and aesthetic, I think I nailed it for the shape of a panel truck. I really dig this International. It's really rare. It's something you don't see a lot of, and I think that's cool. Um, and I'm really excited to kind of see. So when Kelly did his Blazer, he didn't print the chassis off because we're never going to use them. But the chassis that I did print off the chassis from the file because I wanted to see it. And I think it's because that's what we should make. When we look at the Jimny chassis and the axial chassis and almost every other, rock crawler chassis, the arches in the front and the back, and there's a bunch of different levels. And if you're trying to do scale trucks, honestly, it could be flat in the back. You can make a drop down for your bumper off of that cross member, drop it, whatever. You need a little arch at the front, but you don't need a lot. Like the chassis is so flat and just a little bit of arch, just a little bit of elevation on the back of the one I printed off for the travel all that I want to see what we can do with a metal one made like that. And I'm very curious if Kelly's chassis for the Blazer is similar or the same. Because I think if we're going to make one out of metal, it almost might make sense to make one that's more universal. If there's a difference between the two, if there's not, then so what? Send it, make that one. We'll see you. Thanks so much. We're out of here in 5. You're still hanging rats forever. 3 you later. Too good to be forgotten. We'll see you next time. Scale rails to hit the trails. Let's go. Bye now. Boom.